It may be the holiday season, but the Marlins are not slowing down. More moves, more transactions. It's emergency podcast time on Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Marlins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm your host, Jeremiah Geiger. I'm a diehard Marlins fan, and I've podcasted about the team for the last 4 seasons. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow wherever you get your podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Happy trade day, happy transaction day. What is going on? A lot to unpack, a lot to discuss. Dane Myers is a Cincinnati Red. Eric Wagaman has been DFA'd. You have Esteury Ruiz, a former top prospect with the Oakland Athletics, now the Sacramento Athletics. He's a Miami Marlin. So much to talk about. I even have the wrong background on the show. Oh my goodness gracious. So it's a live show. Mistakes happen. I'm sure my bosses are going to laugh at me, but lots to discuss. Here we go. So we say goodbye to Dane Myers, and I want to lead off the show with this. Dane Myers, at one point last season, was the best offensive player to start the year. I would say the first month, first 5 or 6 weeks, there was talk of Dane Myers getting traded at the trade deadline. Do the Marlins hold on to him? And then, of course, Kyle Stowers emerged. Augustin Ramirez looked like an all-star. And Dane Myers, for whatever reason, just hit a complete wall in terms of production, in terms of just being able to deserve consistent playing time. And he really struggled. I couldn't really put my finger on as to why. Like, where was his struggles coming from? It wasn't like he was striking out all the time or his approach looked terrible. He's a good player. There's a lot to like about him. There's a lot of interesting, tools that I understand why the Cincinnati Reds are going to take a flyer on him. It just so happens that in Miami, given the outfield situation, there wasn't room for him. Cade Ninehammer in the show, he says these last 2 days feel liberating. They do, Cade. I'm happy. I'm happy that they're doing something. It doesn't have to be the superstar move. I talked about Peter Fairbanks. I know you, Cade, are a big Peter Fairbanks fan. I am too, one of my favorite relief pitchers. It feels liberating that the Marlins are doing something, that they're not just sitting back. And I think Peter Bendix has the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes to making these smaller transactions. So who did the Marlins get back for Dane Myers? Established major leaguer. They ship him off to Cincinnati. In return, they get a minor league outfielder named Ethan O'Donnell. Okay, Ethan O'Donnell, he's not, a top prospect by any means, but he's a veteran guy in terms of being around professional baseball. He played college ball. He's 23 years old. He's a month and a half younger than me. Dang, I'm getting old. I'm unk. But he was a 6th-round pick out of the University of Virginia back in 2023. And there's some qualities that I really like about him. Number one with Ethan O'Donnell is his ability to have contact and speed, right? Sometimes there's a player out there that has pure speed, but doesn't have the contact and can't get on base. I think Ethan O'Donnell, the bat-to-ball skills are there. It needs some refining, and he had a rough 2025, but you saw 2024, O'Donnell had a pretty good year in high A. Hit 269, hit 10 bombs, stole 31 bags, an OPS of 774, and even last year, an OPS just shy of 700, 652 OPS, 7 bombs, still stole 20 bags. I think there's a intriguing bat to ball skill that the Marlins see and can develop. I don't know how much of a power hitter he is. I'm going to do some more deep dives on Ethan O'Donnell, on the players that the Marlins get back. This is more of a general discussion of the returns the Marlins are getting, because there's a lot to talk about. And we have a special guest later on in the show that's going to hop on and talk about one of the players the Marlins just traded for today, Esteury Ruiz. Let's go to the comments. Sell the Marlins says we need a DFA Josh Simpson next. I'm going to discuss Josh Simpson and Eric Wagaman a little bit later on. Dragon Boss says, I like the moves we're making. You hate the Wagaman DFA. You could have at least wavered him. So, Dragon Boss, here's the thing with DFAs. A team can claim him. A team absolutely can claim him. If he does not get traded, then a team can claim Eric Wagaman. If not, he just gets outrighted to the minor leagues. I would guess, I would be willing to venture that a team either trades for Wagaman, maybe for, I don't know, some cash, something really, really cheap, or they claim him on waivers. Fishhead Forever says that opens up a roster spot for a real first baseman. This is the key, guys. This is what's so important about this Wagaman DFA. Okay, and we're going to talk more about it in depth later on in the show, so stay tuned. But as Fish says, Wagaman's on the 40-man roster. Pete Fairbanks added to the 40-man. You traded Dane Myers to open up that 40-man roster spot. Now, when you take Wagaman away from the equation, okay, now we have an opportunity to add somebody. Could we go out and get Kazuma Okamoto? Could we do it, guys? Can you imagine? Can you imagine Kazuma Okamoto is a Miami Marlin? I mean, Murakami signs with the White Sox. I know everybody talks about, the Dodgers, the Padres, but this offseason has felt a little bit different. It's felt like these smaller market teams. I know Chicago's not really a smaller market, but they're not a good team. But Pittsburgh's getting involved in free agency. You have the White Sox getting involved. Could it be the Marlins' turn to go out and go sign Okamoto? I would be ecstatic if that's the case. Christopher Morel, with all due respect, he's never played a day in his life at first base at the professional level, at the major league level. It's not they say he's going to be a first baseman, but is that viable? We'll see. We'll see. Let's wrap it up here with Ethan O'Donnell. So, O'Donnell, 18th ranked prospect in the Reds system at the time, okay, according to Pipeline. And I know there's updates that need to happen and all that, but he's not going to be ranked. He's not ranked with the Marlins right now. And I think that's a testament to the depth that the Marlins are building. And notice what Peter Bendix is doing. He's building minor league depth, not just major league depth, but minor league depth, right? O'Donnell, AA player. Last year, you go out and get Matthew Etzel. I call him the Beard. Sean Barrett. If you know, you know. Sean Barrett's somebody who's got an awesome beard, friend of the program. Matthew Etzel looks just like him. But Etzel, quality approach at the plate. Ethan O'Donnell, toolsy player. Some good bat to ball. Struggled a little bit, but he's got good speed. Really good speed. I'm intrigued. I think the Marlins are taking a little bit of a chance on here, being that, of course, he's an older prospect, 23 years old, but if they can get him to be an average major leaguer, a fourth outfielder, that's a win, guys. That's absolutely a win. Bats left, throws right. Been around the game for a long time. I'm excited to see O'Donnell in this system. Dragon Boss in the chat says, from what I know, bringing Mac on to the main roster and Josh White for bullpen depth. We trade off either Edward Cabrera or Weathers and bring up Snelling. Thomas White needs more. Joe Mack and Robbie Snelling will not make the major league roster out of camp. Can almost guarantee you that. Service time manipulation is a thing. They're going to debut fairly soon, but not out of camp. I think the Marlins are going to want that extra year of team control. Cabrera, we don't know. All I know is the price is very high. The Marlins do not want to sell low. Ryan Weathers, I don't know if they're going to trade him either because coming off of injury, again, it goes back to value. Josh White, though, absolutely. I think Josh White breaks camp with the team. I think Josh White is somebody who puts on a really good performance. And my hot take, I'm going to do a hot takes episode later on this offseason, but Josh White's going to have a really good year. I feel really, really good about Josh White panning out as a prospect. Coming up next, guys, we're going to talk about Eric Wagaman. He's been DFA'd, what that means for the Marlins, and we're also going to talk about a new addition for Miami. Former top prospect, Esteury Ruiz. Stay with me on the other side. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting's best when the game starts to shift, or in my case, when you're fighting for a fantasy football championship. All I need is Puka Nacua and Kirk Cousins not to have 53 points, and I'm a 20-man team or 20-man league champion. So maybe I'll put some money on the under for Puka's yards and make it a more enjoyable night. But if you want to bet touchdown scores, drive results, totals, money lines, they got it all. You want to be right in the middle this season, just got one more week before the playoffs. Visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Thank you for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Marlins with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Check the link in the show notes to learn more. And joining me on today's show to talk about a new acquisition is Booney from Locked On A's. Booney, how we doing?
What's up, Jeremiah? I'm doing good, man. Happy holidays, happy New Year's, almost happy New Year's. How's it going, man?
Right? It's an exciting time. The Marlins are doing things, and I have to record this emergency episode. Esteury Ruiz. I remember top prospect, speedster. Yeah. Tell the people, tell the Marlins fans, Booney, what are they getting?
Oh my God. Listen, I've been high on Esteury Ruiz for a while. In 2023, he led the American League in stolen bases. He was second in all of baseball with 69 stolen bases to Ronald Acuna, I believe it was. The big thing on Esteury Ruiz was he had a hard time getting on base, taking walks, pitch selection. And at the beginning of 2024, he was slotted to be the leadoff man. And shockingly, right off the bat, the A's sent him down to AAA Vegas. And he tore it up in Vegas, got brought back up. Tore it up when he was in Oakland, got hurt. Year ended early, season ending injury. And in 2025, he was put on the 40-man roster. And going into 2025, the thought was, hey, he is going to be in contention for a leadoff spot. He had an awful spring. I mean, he couldn't hit anything. I want to say something like 1 for 25. And he started the year in AAA. Well, the A's had a call-up where they had to make room on the 40-man roster for somebody. And in that scenario, they had to DFA Ruiz, to my disappointment. I followed him when he got picked up by the Dodgers of the Dodger organization, and he tore it up. Absolutely hit over 300, got brought up by the Dodgers, so forth. Didn't play a lot of games, wasn't super successful with the Dodgers, but he is a guy with a huge upside. When the season starts next year, he's going to be, I believe, 27 years old. Defensively, so-so. But the electricity he brings on the offensive side of things is out of this world. I mean, you have yourself a premier stolen base guy, even if it's close to back in 2023. And I think he's a better hitter, and I think he's a better player. I think it was a great trade by the Marlins. You didn't give up much, I don't believe, in that situation.
Yeah, Booty, I'm super excited for this. I remember 2023, and I remember this kid, and he stole 67 bags, and he hit like 255, 254. Yes. Not a lot of power, but he's getting on base enough. And when you put yourself to steal 70 bases, you're going to be a weapon. Absolutely. And the fact that we're just 2 years removed away from that has me really excited. Who the Marlins give up? They gave up a pitcher they just signed back in, I believe, January of last year. So a small or younger prospect, the Dodgers, they're going to be looking at, maybe he develops into something for the Marlins. You're getting someone that I feel like, Booney, can be a fourth outfielder, battle for a role on this big league team in 2026.
100%. I mean, Esteury Ruiz gives you a huge upside. Sure, granted, could he be that AAA guy? Could he be the guy that's going to hit 205, 210, and you send him down to AAA, he doesn't earn a spot? Sure, you didn't give up much for him either. But also, can he be a guy who hits between 240 and 260 and be an absolute weapon on the base pass and be a game changer? For sure. And he's not that far away from it. In AAA last year with the Dodgers, I believe he stole something like 60-something bases as well. The guy's a menace on the base pass. I love the trade the Marlins made. I love those upside trades. It was a great move. It's not going to cost you much if he doesn't work out. And if he does work out, I like it a lot.
Right. Dragon Boss in the chat says, do we have 1 or 2 spots on the 40-man left? So I believe, Dragon Boss, we are, let's see, Fairbanks, that took Dane Myers' spot. Esteury Ruiz, depends what we do with him, because right now we do have an open spot. Wagaman's DFA'd. So I wonder if the Marlins give Ruiz the spot. I assume they do. So it would just be no open spots. They might have to end up DFAing somebody else. But that's what it looks like right now as it stands. Excited for this signing, guys, or this trade. Really am. I mean, Booney explained it. This guy was a top prospect in the A's system for a reason. Speed kills. I love when the Marlins bring in someone with high upside, a lot of speed, someone that, maybe there's some bumps in the road, but you see the tools. And that's what Peter Bendix does. He's bringing in guys with tools. And I really like Ruiz. I think he's going to battle for a spot this spring training. Booney, thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely, Jeremiah. Hey, go Marlins. Second favorite team. Take care, pal.
Go Marlins. Go A's.
Take care, guys.
Coming up next, guys, we're going to talk about the ramifications for Wagaman. I know we talked about Esteury Ruiz, but Eric Wagaman's DFA, the fact that happened, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. It's an unexpected occurrence this offseason. I didn't expect Wagaman to be DFA'd. I thought he was going to play next season. He was still under contract for a whole another year, but this means that the Marlins are serious about making changes in their organization. That's coming up right after this. Hey, shout out to all the everydayers who make Locked On Marlins a part in your daily routine. Can't do this without you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section. This is a live show right now, so let me know your thoughts on Eric Wagaman. Fish says 1 spot on the 40-man. Yeah, I think you're right, but I'm assuming that Esteury is going to be named to the 40-man roster. Would I be correct there? And unless I'm completely missing something, because Fairbanks, a roster spot needed to be open. They traded Dane Myers for a prospect, so Fairbanks takes Dane Myers, and then you trade for Esteury Ruiz. You're going to add him to the 40-man, unless he's not going to be on the 40-man. Let's see. Was he on the Dodgers 40-man roster last year? I mean, I know I don't know if he has options or not. Let's see. Maybe he'll be a non-roster invite. I don't think so though. No, he was on the Dodgers 40-man. So yeah, Fishhead forever. Are we sure it's one spot with Ruiz added to the 40-man or with Ruiz off the 40-man? That's my question. But as of right now, until the, everything gets situated and everything's written in paper and set into the league, I don't expect the Marlins to be done. Wagaman, DFA'd. Let's talk about it. Didn't expect it. Did not expect this move. I thought Eric Wagaman was going to get another shot in 2026. That's not going to be the case. That is not going to happen. Wagaman DFA'd, like I said earlier in the program, I assume he's going to be claimed at some point. He's going to find himself on another organization. He's not going to stay with the Marlins. Not for a player that's had over 500 plate appearances a season ago, and he was expected to get some playing time next year. A team's going to end up claiming him. What does this mean for first base? It means that Kazuma Okamoto is still on the board. And guess what the date is? It's December 29th. Kazuma Okamoto has how many days to sign? I think he has 5 days, 1 week. 1 week. Let's see. January 4th. Might be nothing. It might be nothing. This could be completely unparalleled. But we are a week away from Okamoto being someone that, can't sign with a major league team. And the Marlins just cleared up a roster spot with Wagaman or first base, especially being that Okamoto plays first base. First base is still a question mark. And now it's an even bigger question mark because your current first baseman on your team, Christopher Morel, who's never played first base, and Liam Hicks, who's a backup catcher, and who also played first base in Double-A. So if you ask me, I think the Marlins are going to go out and sign someone or make a trade. And I don't see who they really want that kind of fits their plan besides maybe a Kazuma Okamoto, who in my opinion is a better prospect than Munetaka Murakami. I'm not a Munetaka Murakami fan. I do like Kazuma Okamoto. If Okamoto finds his way to Miami, let's go. This guy is the real deal, guys. The real deal. He walks, he has power, and the best part is that he doesn't strike out. And I think that's so important. So important. Nico in the chat, our first baseman is going to be a 62 over D potential, 62 overall, like MLB The Show. Thomas said we're going to hear from the A's again, perhaps Cabrera on the way to Sacramento. We might, guys. That A's team, Booney, friend of the program, been on his show. We've done crossovers. That A's team has a good young core, and it begins with Nick Kurtz. I think Kurtz is going to end up winning MVPs. Tyler Soderstrom, they just locked him up. 7 years, $82 million. Good young team. Marlins, good young team. When it comes to though, I don't know if they're going to want to give up what it takes to pry Edward from the Marlins' hands. Remember, Cabrera still has 3 more years of control. 3 more years before the Marlins. I mean, I would assume they would probably trade him before those 3 years, but there's no rush. Fishhead in the chat says the Wagaman DFA also makes Troy Johnston's a moot point. Yeah, that's kind of ironic, right? I wonder if the organization decided that Wagaman wasn't going to be in the future at the end of the season, or if they knew Troy Johnston wasn't going to be on the team while they were still playing the games. Both those players are major leaguers to a degree. I think Troy Johnston's better than Eric Wagaman. I did not like Eric Wagaman whatsoever. I thought the whole spin they tried to do last summer, and he got hot. I mean, it's too little too late, and he doesn't have enough power for a first baseman, which is why I didn't want to bring back Luis Arias. Doesn't have a lot of power. Wagaman's like 6'4" and doesn't have power. Thomas says the 3 years of Cabrera and an inexpensive contract are perfect for the A's. Exactly. It is, but here's the thing, Thomas. Who will they give up? Booney asked this question on his show. Their prospect system, I don't think, is as exciting in terms of close to major league ready players, really blue chip prospects that I would want to see the Marlins get back for Cabrera. I mean, Shea Langoliers is a stud, but you have no room for catcher. They just locked up Soderstrom. I'm struggling to think about the individual trades the Marlins would make or the prospects they'd get back. Dale's in the chat, says Wagaman's kind of sad. He just didn't behave as a first baseman. At his measurements, he needed to be a 30-homer guy at least. Yeah, exactly. You can't hit 9 homers across 500-plus plate appearances at that size, at that position. And the hit tool was too inconsistent. You heard Booney's comment on Cabrera. Booney's a great host. Does some really good shows over there. We're going to have to do a crossover again soon. Baseball's a business at the end of the day. It really is. But I think this is a moment in time where you're realizing Peter Bendix maybe isn't all the way invested on competing this season. And Bruce Sherman, we're going to spend all the money it takes. We have to win this year. But we're also at a point, at a juncture in this rebuild where we're not messing around anymore, right? Matt Mervis, you're going to hit a $180. You're going to hit a $180 and start every day and strike out at a 42% clip. Bye. We're moving on because you're not fitting into our long-term plans. Eric Wagaman, we took a flyer on you. You hit, what did he hit? 240, 238, something. 9 homers, 500 plate appearances. Not a very good defender. Not a player that fit your profile as an organization. 28 years old. He hit 250. OPS of 674. Okay, you had a chance. We kind of know what you have. We're going to chase some upset. We're going to chase some upside. I'm chasing Christopher Morel. I'm taking him and his upside. Maybe it doesn't work out, but I'd take that over Eric Wagaman. Let me know what you would do. Dale says, what's the deal with the outfield now? Seems like we're actually overloaded. Where's Derek Hill? LOL. Yeah. With the outfield, I was always of the opinion the last few weeks that the Marlins didn't need to make an addition. And now I'm saying I'm really stoked for the Esteury Ruiz signing. I think it's great for the Marlins because it gives you some competition. We're going to talk a lot about competition. We love competition here at Locked On Marlins. And the Marlins love competition. Esteury Ruiz is going to push Griffin Conine, going to push Heriberto Hernandez. This isn't a give me anymore. This isn't something that you're just expected to make a roster spot. Ruiz has experience. The hope is, again, chasing upside. Chasing that speed like me and Booney talked about. Stole 70 bags 2 years ago. That's game-changing speed. Game-changing base running. The Marlins don't have that on the roster apart from Xavier Edwards, and Ruiz is a better base runner than that. Better base runner, more complete, in terms of just stealing bases. Edwards is more complete of a hitter. Like Fish said, Ruiz is a flyer. You're happy if he works out and you're okay if he doesn't. Exactly. I'm not saying, he's going to be the next, superstar. He's going to come in and steal 78 bags, hit 280. No, but he could steal 70 bags. That's the type of upside he has, which is why I didn't hate the Morel signing. Morel and Ruiz, to me, feel like they're cut with the same cloth. Players who had one good year, started to struggle, haven't put it back together. Marlins say, you know what? We're going to take a chance. We're going to take a flyer, an opportunity to see if they can come into our organization and develop and get back on track. And if they can, that's a testament to the culture and the coaching staff that the Marlins are building. This also is a top to bottom project, an organization, player development, the daily routine, how you're attacking the hitting cages. What are you working on? You know, the use of analytics in your game. If there's any organization I think that the Marlins could possibly get the most out of these marginal players, these players that really aren't stars, but the Marlins go out and get, it's Peter Bendix and the analytical team and the coaching staff, because we've seen it before. Jansen Junk's success story, Otto Lopez success story. Dragon Boss says, I think Thomas White needs more time in AAA. Snelling should be ready, but if he is called up, we need to move in our rotation. If we can't get Okamoto, I'd want Arias back. I agree on the first part. Thomas White is not ready. Snelling should be ready, yes, but they won't call him up for a month or so, maybe 2 months. But you're not wrong. Arias, I just can't get behind it. Can't get behind it. I think the hit tool is starting to slow down. He's not walking, and he has no power. Also, no defense. 2023 Arias, absolutely. But this is a guy that didn't hit 300 last year. And he doesn't get on base enough to compensate for that. Marlins Baseball says, I'm excited because I believe in the Marlins playoff player development. Absolutely. I do too. Again, when it comes to these marginal moves, these smaller trades, this is where Peter Bendix excels. They have an eye for talent, guys. I'm telling you they do. Do not be surprised if either Esteury Ruiz or Christopher Morel are getting meaningful playing time, meaningful at-bats in July or August. This isn't just a move to fill up a roster spot or, to push Conine a little bit, to push Liam Hicks a little bit at first base. No, these are players that they're saying, hey, we're taking a flyer on you, but the reward is very real. It's a very tangible thing, the success they can get. Time for a couple of more comments. I know we're running out of time here. Thomas says, 2025 plus one more win a month is the playoff ticket. That's doable. Exactly, Thomas. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. This isn't a team that's light years away from the playoffs. A couple of breaks here, a good bullpen decision here, a pitcher staying healthy there. This Marlins team last year is in the playoffs. They can do it in 2026. They can. Will they? It's going to take a lot of things. It's going to take health. It's going to take smart personnel decisions. Everybody progressing in their development, not regression, but it is doable. This Marlins 2026 team absolutely has playoff potential written all over it. Jose says, do you think we didn't get Munetaka Murakami because they wouldn't pay extra, translator, media, etc.? No, I don't think that's it, Jose. I think Murakami, to me at least, looking at his profile, I don't like it as much as Okamoto. I think he got, what was it, a 2-year, what was his contract? 2-year deal with the White Sox. I thought he was going to get a lot more money. Can't find it here. 2-year contract. Let me look this up. 2-year 34. They probably didn't want to, invest $34 million on a guy that might not be the type of profile they're looking for. Maybe they go out and get Okamoto and they spend that money. Murakami isn't worth it. Maybe Murakami is worth it. But I was surprised. I know what you mean. I was surprised he went to the White Sox for $34 million. It was doable. But I'm kind of glad they didn't go out and make that deal. Strikes out a lot, guys. Murakami has a strikeout problem, in the NPB. That could carry on to Major League Baseball in a big way. Michael, I'm going to wrap it up right here. He says, I wonder what they do next. Me too. Can't wait. Cannot wait. This Marlins team, we got about, what do we got? 87 days till opening day. I saw a post. Time flies, guys. It's 3 months, less than 3 months. Time flies. Glad to see the team is staying active, staying hot. Hot stove. I appreciate you guys tuning into the program. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and until next time, stay safe, stay locked on, and as always, you know it, let's go fish.